Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please give your confirmations on the chat box, please. Thank you. Thank you very much for your confirmations, and I welcome you all to this first session on DevOps course. I hope you are excited. I am very excited. Thank you very much. Let's stop the chat. Yes, let's stop the chat. Perfect. Okay. Yes. So welcome you all again to this first session on DevOps course. Okay. So before starting about introducing you to the world of DevOps, I just want to give you my introduction, followed with let's have interaction with some of the participants. We cannot have interaction with all the participants. I hope you know it. Okay, please, those who want to speak, please raise your hand. First, I'll introduce myself, and then you will be given an opportunity to talk. We'll have interaction with some of the participants, and then we'll be jumping into the subject of DevOps. So this is our plan for today. So I have total 10 years of experience. This is Sunil Kopavarapu from 10 years of experience. Now it's 11. The first 3 years of experience I have in Oracle applications domain. I worked as a techno-functional consultant in Oracle ERP. And then I have shifted my technology from Oracle applications to the cloud platform. I worked in AWS technology. I worked on DevOps. Okay, 6 years of experience I'm having in AWS and DevOps, and I'm close to having 7 years of experience in online and classroom training. So this is a quick introduction about DevOps. I'm AWS certified. I am Terraform certified. I am Python certified. This is quick certification which I have. This is a quick introduction about myself, and I'm based out of Hyderabad. Thank you. So yes, let's have interaction. There are many people who are already raising their hands. Okay. We cannot, I hope you know, we cannot have interaction with all the participants. Let's have interaction with some of the participants, and then we'll be getting into the subject. I think Elvis is waiting from a long time. He joined very early. Hello, Elvis, how are you doing? You're from which location? I can see your hand raise, Elvis. You are now allowed to unmute and talk. First, you will be on mute. By default, you'll be on mute. You have to unmute yourself and then speak. Okay. Satish Gunjal, how are you, Satish?
Yes, can you hear me?
Thank you, Alice, sir. I hope, yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Joel from Cyprus.
Your voice is not clear. Your location, please.
I'm joining from Cyprus. Cyprus.
You're from which city? Which country?
Cyprus. 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 Eastern is green. Europe.
Okay. So it's not clear. Yes. What's your question, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your question, please?
Yes. I don't have any question at the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining.
Yes.
Satish Gunjal, how are you, Satish?
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, doing great.
Thank you very much. You're from which location and your experience?
I am from Nasik. I'm from Maharashtra, India.
Yeah. I know Nasik. It's a popular place.
Yeah, and
yes.
I work as a business analyst, and I see the latest trend in the market
is
for
DevOps.
DevOps. Yeah, cloud and DevOps I see. So I am looking forward to grab the knowledge and upgrade my skills from this course. So
good, how do you know about this institute?
Yeah, one of my relatives shared me the link, and I have joined with this group.
Okay, good. Thank you, Satish. It's always good to learn latest technologies to have a cutting edge advantage with respect to other profiles in the market, isn't it, Satish? Okay. So I hope you'll have a wonderful learning. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Rohini Patil.
Hi, sir. Thank you for unmuting me.
Thank you, Rohini. I think we're talking for the second time.
Yes.
Huh?
I just finished your Python class and joined.
Okay, good. I think in Python we have just talked once.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay.
So my question is like I'm from testing background and working on blockchain and Python and AWS, but I just wanted to know that how the DevOps will helpful for me in going future. Like I just want to learn more on Docker side and Kubernetes. Does that
Yes, Docker and Kubernetes is part of DevOps.
okay?
So you have exposure in AWS?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay. So DevOps and the AWS combination is doing very good, Rohini, in the market. Okay.
Okay.
So I hope you will enjoy this learning as well.
Sure, sir. I just want
Any
to
specific
learn
question?
more on Kubernetes side.
Mhm.
So does this DevOps sessions will be helpful for me?
Okay. In this is a DevOps course, okay,
Uh-huh.
which is combination of 7 tools. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So Kubernetes will spend only 5 days. Okay.
Okay.
So in this session, you will have basics of Kubernetes, but there is an exclusive Kubernetes course. Okay. Generally, people like you who want to have an exclusive Kubernetes, there's a 15 days Kubernetes course exclusively, which you're
Okay.
planning in the month of December. Okay. So,
Okay, sir. Will you getting notification on the
yes, in the groups. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Raghavendra PGK, how are you? Good evening.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. This is Raghavendra.
Your volume is very low, Raghavendra. Please increase your mic volume.
Okay, I'm in office currently, so
Okay.
is it loud now?
Now it is very good now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have 17 years of experience with the different technologies. Now my employer started going towards the cloud. We are mainly looking for the GCP, but just I was attending your Python class, so you shared this link, so just
Okay.
joined to check on this one. So is it just based on the AWS only, or DevOps is like even
Completely
people
different.
having a GC? Sorry, Sunil.
DevOps is completely different. Okay. So DevOps
Mhm.
is a combination of tools. Okay. Before getting into the subject, just I want to show you this set of tools which we will be covering as part of our training course. As you can see, Git, Maven, Jenkins, Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, Ansible, Nagios. So these are all tools, Raghavendra, and we will be implementing all these tools on AWS platform. Okay. So that's why the course is titled as DevOps on AWS. Okay, but once you have the exposure with respect how the tool behaves, you can experience the same tools on GCP also. The behavior will
Oh,
remain the same. Okay.
okay,
Okay.
yeah. So whoever looking for the DevOps on GCP or on Azure, can they go through this class, or do you have any DevOps for the Azure or
Yes,
GCP?
we have DevOps on Azure coming up in the month of December. Okay. So if
Okay,
for Azure, yes, we have an exclusive course for Azure, but there is no course from our end DevOps on GCP. Okay. So we have
okay,
two options. You can learn DevOps on AWS now, or you can wait for probably 20 days more. We'll be starting DevOps on Azure. Okay.
okay.
Concepts will remain the same. Only thing the underlying technology change, platform changes. Okay.
Yeah,
Raghavendra,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, thank you.
thank you very much. Mike, good. I think it's good morning for you. How are you doing? You're from which location?
Good morning. I'm from the States, United States.
Good. Thank you
And
for joining.
yeah, I got the link from just finished the Python training.
Mhm.
So you share the link. I said, let me join and see how it goes. Yeah, I listened to the other first question. I was looking forward to DevOps with Azure. So my question is, if I attend this class, will it also help me in the area of on Azure? Because I'm taking the Azure class. I'm not taking the AWS class.
If you don't mind, may I know from where you are taking the Azure class, from the same organization, from our institute?
Yes, sir. From you, sir.
Mr. Ankit Narula.
Yes, from Anki. Yes, sir.
I strongly recommend you to wait for probably 20 days because we are starting DevOps on Azure. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as you are in the Azure track, anyways, you're welcome to join on AWS to have an exposure. But my recommendation is to go with DevOps and Azure. In fact, once you learn DevOps on any technology, either it is AWS or Azure, you can learn independently any other one. Okay, so if you learn DevOps on AWS, you can implement it on Azure. If you learn DevOps on Azure, you can implement it on AWS. The tools, the behavior, the commands, the settings will remain the same. The only underlying cloud platform changes. But anyways, as you're from Azure, I recommend you to wait for 20 days and join DevOps and Azure.
Oh, okay. But there'll be no conflict. My trouble was the timing. There'll be no conflict, right?
No, it will not conflict.
Okay. All right. Because I already paid for the Azure and for the Python. So I'm looking into this too. There's no knowledge loss.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I lived in Bangalore. I old technology. I work with State Bank of India.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, let me look at this one. So
Okay.
I think I'll just attend the training and then at least to refresh my. I've not been to DevOps class. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Thank
this
you.
session you will understand what is DevOps and why it is important.
And again, I really want to thank you for how you've been taking the Python. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. I hope you will enjoy these sessions also. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Neeraj Kumar. How are you, Neeraj?
I'm good, sir.
Thank you for joining, Neeraj. Your location, your experience, and why are you
Yes, sir.
learning DevOps?
Sir, I'm from Maharashtra, and I'm fresher right now. I attending your Python classes, and I get informed that you are starting DevOps.
Okay.
I'm keen. I'm quite interested.
Okay.
I'm excited to join.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Neeraj.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
DevOps, I'm sure it's not as easy as Python. Okay, good. Couple of more calls, please bear with me to get into the today's concept because interaction is also important. Praveen, how are you?
Yeah, hi Sunil. Yeah, hi Sunil. I'm good. I have total 10 years of experience. I'm into performance testing. I want to add this stack as an additional one, as an additional technology. So my
Good.
question is
How
this
do
the
you know
general?
this?
So one of my friend shared,
Recommended.
recommended and shared this, and I learned Azure with Ankit Narula also.
Wow. Okay.
And Sunil, is this the generalized course or is it the DevOps only on AWS?
This is DevOps only on AWS.
So, but just I'm looking for Azure also. So, is the course content will be the same if I learn even on Azure?
Course content will be the same, but how do we execute the examples is different.
Okay, okay.
Let's say
So
Jenkins, we are learning Jenkins in DevOps. There is a tool called Jenkins.
Yes.
The way Jenkins is executed in AWS is different. The way Jenkins is used in Azure is different.
Okay, but the course
functionality is the same. What Jenkins performs, it is the same. But the way we have to use Jenkins in Azure is different.
Okay, okay. So, but the course content will be the same, but how it will be executed on AWS and how it will be executed on Azure will be run on separate tracks, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So, what is your decision?
Let me think of it.
Okay, then.
So just now you informed, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, even
I
I
want
am
to
in
be
dilemma.
very clear. I want to be very clear from my side. I hope I'm very clear. Okay.
Okay.
That's
is
the
Azure
reason.
also going to be handled by you or
no?
Okay.
Azure DevOps and Azure is handled by Ankit. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, son.
Karthik Subramanian. Good evening, Karthik.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Karthik. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thank you, Karthik. You're from which location in your experience, please?
Yeah, currently I am in UK and I have 13 years of experience.
Okay.
So I have both Azure and AWS environments.
Wow.
So I want to, I want to jump in DevOps. So I hope this course will be more helpful for me.
I hope you know, Karthik, cloud combination with respect, cloud platform on combination with DevOps is driving very much in the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you add this DevOps skill sets in your cloud platform, either AWS or DevOps, your profile value increases tremendously. Okay. How
Yes.
do you
So
know
that's why
about this course?
one of my friend who is already previous batch. So she referred this one to me.
Okay. She is my old DevOps participant. I think so.
Yes, her name Ramlashmi. I'm not sure
Okay.
you know her.
I have, yeah, I know her. Okay, so what is her comments about the course?
Yeah, she said it's a good one, but I think she had some other issue. She is not
She has
continuing,
not
but she
completed.
referred
She
due
has only
to,
completed 50% of the course.
exactly, due to some personal issues. But she referred it's a good one. I can join here.
Thank you,
That's why.
Karthik. Please experience the training. Thank you very much. Convey my regards
Yeah,
to her.
and regarding this Python class, when we are starting the next batch, any idea?
Definitely in the January.
Okay, in January. Okay.
Yes.
So I see in the link there is a buying option for $16. So is that for the Jan class or what is it?
Which link you are referring to?
The Logic Lab website portal.
1 minute, please.
Logic Lab portal.
Okay.
If you go the courses, all courses, I see Python batch 103.
This is a running course. This one. Python
Okay, so
batch
that I
103. This is a
completed,
running
right?
course. Okay, so a day-to-day session gets uploaded here. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you.
One more final call before getting into Nishant Savale. Already have talked to you. Please don't mind. Tudi Rakesh. Rakesh, good evening. You are now allowed to unmute and talk. Arpit, good evening, Arpit. How are you doing? By default, you will be on mute, Arpit. Yeah, thank you for unmuting. How are you?
Yeah, hi, fine, sir, fine. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was in your Python batch, so currently I am doing that.
I know your experience.
Yes, currently I'm working as a storage admin from
SAN
last 2
storage?
years. Yes, SAN and NAS both.
Is it Dell storage box?
No, I'm in SCL Technologies.
Okay.
So yeah. So for this one, sir, DevOps, I have some couple of questions, and I was looking for the exact answers. So, sir, actually, I'm just starting my career here in DevOps, so that is why I'm learning side by side a Python. So from you, and so just I want to know that in which way I need to go, DevOps on AWS or DevOps on Azure or DevOps on GCP, and which one is good for us, like if I am changing my track from storage to DevOps, so is it good for me at once?
I'll be very clear with your questions. Point number one, do you know cloud platform either AWS or Azure?
No, sir, I don't know.
You do not know AWS, you do not know Azure.
Yeah.
Agree? You're completely zero in the cloud platform. Okay.
Correct.
As you're completely zero, you have equivalent, it's up to you. So both, there are three options of learning DevOps.
Yes, sir.
DevOps is nothing but set of tools. Okay, what each tool will do, I'll explain, don't worry. It's a set of tools. Okay. So we can learn this DevOps tools on AWS.
Okay.
The same set of tools, we can learn it on, obviously, you know it, on Azure platform. The same set of tools, we can also learn it on GCP. Okay, in the market, these two options are doing good. DevOps with AWS is doing good. DevOps and Azure is doing good. I cannot say which is number one and which is number two because both are equally good. Arpit.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So GCP is always the third preference. The market share is very less when compared to AWS and Azure. So it's up to you. Both are equally good. I cannot comment that as AWS is good or Azure is good. Okay. It's up to you. Both are equally good. Only if you're perfect in both AWS and DevOps or Azure and DevOps, you will get equivalent opportunities. Okay. I don't recommend GCP. So as you are zero in AWS and zero in Azure, it's up to you to pick up any path and drive with that particular path. Okay. But eventually you have to end up learning both the courses. One is DevOps, which you are doing now. You have an exclusive AWS course. I hope you know it. Okay. So you have to complete the exclusive AWS course. Similarly, there's an exclusive Azure course and there is one more course called DevOps and Azure. Okay. So both are exclusive courses. The other institutes, they combine both that and then they make it as one course. But coming to here at Logic Labs Technologies, Cloud Platform is an independent course and DevOps is an independent course. Okay. So you have to end up finally learning both the courses so that you will be very strong and confident in making your career shift to the latest technologies. Okay, Arpit?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank
you so much. Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we have spent some enough time about interaction with many more participants. There are many more participants raising for the opportunity, but because as you know, the agenda is the highest concern, so let's get into the concept of the concept today, that is DevOps on AWS. Okay. So before starting, what's the prerequisite? I'm sure you have this question in your mind. What is a prerequisite? If you want to learn DevOps on AWS, most of you may have this question. Sunil, I do not know AWS. Sunil, I don't know AWS. I'm completely zero in AWS. Can I join this course now? Yes, my answer is yes. Even though you are zero in AWS, you can learn this course which I'm training, DevOps on AWS. But you have to complete AWS course also, because when you are attending an interview, they ask you questions on, let's say if you create a profile, when you create a resume on the DevOps tools, they first ask you these tools which you have learned, have you implemented in AWS platform or have you implemented in Azure platform? They'll ask you this question. So you have to be good in the cloud platform also. You have to be good in AWS platform also. So it's up to you. People learn DevOps first and then AWS as a second course. People learn AWS first, complete it and come to DevOps. Vice versa is also good. First learn DevOps. There are many people who learn DevOps first and then get into AWS. The people learn who AWS first and DevOps as a second course. But finally, you have to end up completing both the courses. Okay. Yes, you can learn. I make you comfortable, even though you are zero in AWS. Even though you are zero in AWS, my sessions will be very clear. So whatever the dependency of AWS concepts, only we use 10% of AWS in the DevOps examples. Only 10% of AWS concepts are used in the DevOps course. That 10% I will clear it in the example so that you will feel confident. But finally, the job market expects you should be skilled in both DevOps and AWS. So even though you're zero in AWS, you can start this course that is DevOps or AWS. Okay, so there is no prerequisite. There is no prerequisite for this particular course which we are starting today. Next question. What is DevOps? Okay. Obviously, you have this question in your mind. Most of you have this question in your mind. What is DevOps? To answer this question about what is DevOps, okay. To answer this question about what is DevOps, I want to discuss about SDLC. Before making you comfortable on the terminology DevOps, before making you understand the terminology called DevOps, before starting DevOps, I want to have a quick discussion about SDLC. Stands for Software Development Lifecycle. I want to have a quick discussion about SDLC. Let's complete this SDLC part and then let's jump into, then I'll explain about the concept of DevOps, okay? So what is SDLC? Software Development Lifecycle. What does that mean? Look at the scenario. Please look at the scenario. Assuming a client is nothing but an organization, a customer. Let's say ICICI Bank. It's a banking client. Assuming a client is nothing but a customer, needs an internet banking application. Okay. Assuming, take an example of an ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank requirement is to have an internet banking application to their customers so the customer can log in and perform all banking over internet. So this is the requirement. Clients approach software development companies. Am I right? Obviously. Clients approach software development companies. It could be Infosys, Wipro, TCS, whatever it is. Client approach the software development companies, explains the requirements. So my dear Infosys, this is what I requirement. I need an internet banking application. So to manage all my customers, this is my functionality. So always clients approach software development companies. So software companies will take the requirements from the client. They clearly understand the requirements. They develop the product or a project and deliver it to client. This is what happens typically in the IT industry. Am I right? As simple as that. Clients gives the requirement to software development company. Software development companies takes the requirements, and then as per the requirements, they develop the application or a product and deliver it to client. This is what happens typically in the IT industry. Am I right? Perfect. When software development companies like Infosys, Wipro or TCS, whatever it is, any company takes the requirements, there is a professional approach of building a particular product. There is a professional streamlined approach of building a particular product and delivering it to the client. There's a streamlined approach. There's a professional approach of building a product. You cannot build a product ad hoc way. You have to follow a step-by-step process. A professional step-by-step process, a guidelines, you have to follow the guidelines, the step-by-step process involved in accepting, taking the requirements from the client and delivering the process, delivering the product. This process of building a particular product and delivering the product is nothing but software development lifecycle. Software development lifecycle is nothing but a series of steps involved. A lifecycle, a series of steps involved. A series of steps involved, right from accepting the requirements and delivering the product to the client. That series of steps is nothing but software development lifecycle. And there are many models in which you can develop a particular product. There are different ways to build a particular product. Let's say that you want to build a particular building. Let's say you want to build a 100 floors building. There are different models. There are different technologies now in the civil industry where you can build a particular building. In the same way, if you want to build a particular product, there are different models, there are different ways, there are different approaches using which you can take the requirements and deliver it to the client. There are several models like a water cycle model, waterfall model. We have this agile model, we have spiral model, we have V model. There are different models in SDLC. We have waterfall model, we have agile model, we have spiral model. Okay, we have V model. There are different models using which you can build a particular product and deliver it to the clients. Out of all these models, the most popular one is waterfall model and agile. These are popular. Waterfall models and agile model is a proper models, is a popular models where many products are built and delivered successfully using these models. I want to discuss about waterfall model first. How a product can be built using the waterfall model. Because it is popular, I want to discuss about waterfall model. Waterfall model, once we understand the waterfall model, there are some problems with the waterfall model. There's disadvantages in the waterfall model. Let's understand the waterfall model. Let's also understand what is the problem with the waterfall model. So because of these disadvantages, currently in this industry, no one is using waterfall model. It's an outdated approach. Because waterfall model is suffering with some disadvantages. We'll understand the disadvantages of waterfall model. Once we understand the disadvantages of waterfall model, let's have a discussion about agile model. The leading model in the current industry is agile model. 90% of the projects are built using agile model in the current industry. So first we'll understand waterfall model, we'll understand the problems with the waterfall model, and then we'll evaluate the agile model, how agile model is different, and why agile model is very successful. So let's have understanding about the software development lifecycle. Once we have an understanding about software development lifecycle, then I will jump into the actual topic of today's session, that is called as DevOps. So let's spend some time understanding software development lifecycle. I want to discuss about waterfall model. SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. There are several models involved in building a particular product. And I want to restrict myself with respect to discussion of two popular models, the waterfall model and agile model. In the first model, first of its kind. So waterfall model is first of its, the first professional approach is waterfall model. The software industry's first model is waterfall model. So let's discuss about it's very popular. So let's discuss about waterfall model, how a product is built using waterfall model quickly. This is how the waterfall model works. In fact, whether it is waterfall model or agile model or spiral model or V model, any model, the first stage remains the same, the requirements phase. Every model starts with requirements. If you want to build a particular product for a particular client, it's very important for the software team to understand the requirements. There'll be regular interaction between the client and the software development company. There will be regular meetings, there will be regular interaction between the client and the software development company. It is a responsibility of the software development company to take the requirements very, very clearly. This is the most important stage. Because once the requirements are clear, then only we end up delivering the right product. If requirements is not clear, obviously you end up delivering a wrong product. It happens most of the times. Again, we have to rework. The most important stage is the requirement stage, where it is very important for the software development company to take the requirements. It's a team, it's a requirement trained, a professional trained requirements team. They clearly understand the requirements. Every model, even the agile model, always starts with the requirements stage. The first stage is requirements. It's very simple. I hope you understood what happens in the requirements. The requirements will be gathered. There will be regular meetings between the client and the software development requirements team, and the requirements team responsibility is to gather the requirements. Okay, let's say requirements is done. Okay, now the software team, software company is very clear about the client requirements. The next stage is analysis. In the analysis stage, the technology components are decided. In the analysis stage, the technology components are decided. What does that mean? What do you mean by technology components? The first stage is requirements. Second stage is analysis. In this analysis stage, the technology components are decided. What does that mean? What do you mean by technology components? This is what this means. The technology is decided. What does that mean? Should we develop the application by using Java technology? Or should we develop the application by using .NET? Or should we develop that application by using Python? What technology should be used in building an application? What database should we use? Should we use Oracle database? Or should we use SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server? Or nowadays MongoDB is doing good. So should we build using MongoDB? What database should we use? Should we use relational databases? Should we use NoSQL databases? The technology components are decided. What should be the middleware? Where to once the application is built, where should we deploy? Should we deploy it using WebLogic? Okay, or should we develop using J? Or what should we? What application server should we use? Should we use the WebLogic? Should we use JBoss? Should we use WebSphere? Should we use Tomcat? So the middleware technology components are also decided. This happens in the analysis. The technology components are decided. The backend part will be decided. The front end technology is decided. The middleware technology, three-tier architecture is decided. The technology components will be decided in the analysis phase. Analysis stage. Okay, so requirements is done. Now the team is having clear requirements. The technology components are also decided. Okay, next what happens? The third stage is design. As you can see in the screen, the third stage is design. What happens in the design stage? The project or product is broken up into modules. In the design stage, the complete project is broken up into modules. Modularity should be maintained. Assuming in ICICI Bank, savings account should be one module. Current account should be is one module. Credit cards is one module. Debit card is one particular module. Loans module. NRI banking, wealth banking, customer care is one module. The complete project is broken up into modules. The complete project is broken up into modules. Not only breaking the project into modules, the data flow diagrams, the user interface, the user experience, the workflows will be designed. How exactly user will experience the application? What should be the user interface? How exactly the front-end pages should look like? What should be the database design? How many tables should be created? How exactly the relationals should be maintained? What should be, how exactly we can maintain relation between one table? Which one is a primary key? Which one should be a foreign key? What are constraints to be defined? So this is called design part. The complete project is broken up into modules, and then every module, user interface, user experience, the diagrams, how exactly the workflow, when a button is pressed, what should happen, how exactly navigation should happen. So this is all happens in the design stage. I hope I'm very clear exactly how exactly the product is built. The project is broken up into modules, the designing is done. How exactly user interface will be done, everything will be shown in graphics. Once the design stage is completed, next comes the role of a programmer. Coding part comes into picture, as you can see. Here comes the role of a programmer or a developer. They take the documents from the design team. If it is a Java technology, the Java developer. If it is a .NET technology, .NET developer. If it is a Python technology, Python developer comes into action. They take the inputs from the design team. They take the documents from the design team, and they start designing the particular application. They start developing the pages. They start creating the functionality. So here is the role of a programmer. So this part is called as coding part. Here comes the role of a programmer or a developer. That's how it happens. There's no importance for developer in the requirements analysis design. Only in the coding part, the developers will jump into action. So developers are jumping into action. They take the documents from the design team, and as per the design, they start building an application. Let's say coding is completed, the application is built. Coding has been completed. Let's say application is built as per the design documents. Once an application is built, should we deliver it to client? No. How can we do it without testing? Isn't it? Once the application is built by the developers, so the QA team will jump into action. As you can see, after coding part, the testing part happens. The QA team will jump into action. Obviously, we cannot deliver before testing. The application should be tested. Testing team will jump into action. They use the testing tools. They define whether should we go for manual testing or automation testing. In case of automation, what tools should be used, how many scripts should be executed, what are different types of testing. There are a lot of testing ways of testing an application. Performance testing, behavior testing, black box testing, white box testing. So different ways the application is tested. Assuming positive, assuming test results are positive, what does it mean? Assuming test results are positive, that means the application which is built by the developers is perfectly behaving as per the requirements. Assume the test results are positive, the application is perfectly behaving as per the requirements, then we deliver the project to the client. This process, this step-by-step process, in this model, this is the model how exactly the software is built using the waterfall model. This series of steps using which a particular product is built and delivered to the client. If you follow this particular process, this is called as a waterfall model. Requirements, Analysis, technology component, design, break up into modules, coding, programmer come into action. They take the documents from the design team, start coding. Once the coding has been completed, testing the application. Assuming testing has been passed, the application is delivered. Am I clear? My dear friends, am I clear in explaining how exactly the product is built using the waterfall model? If yes, please type yes in the chat box. I'm talking about high level. On a high level, am I clear in explaining you how a particular product is built and delivered to the client as per the waterfall model? Perfect. Thank you very much for your responses. Now, the waterfall model is facing with some disadvantages. Now let's try to understand what is the problem with the waterfall model. Why waterfall model is not used now? No one is using. Not even 10% of the industry is using waterfall model, almost zero. It's an outdated approach. So what is the problem with the waterfall model? Let's try to understand the problem with the waterfall model, okay? The problem with the waterfall model is there's a dependency between one stage to other stage. The main problem with the waterfall model is there's a dependency between one stage to other stage. What does that mean? There's a dependency between analysis stage to requirements. There's a dependency between design to analysis. There's a dependency between coding to design. There's a dependency from testing to coding. What do you mean by dependency? Look at this. Let's try to understand the dependency part. This is the stages in the waterfall model, right? What's the problem with the waterfall model? One stage will depend on its previous stage. That means one resource will wait for its previous resource to complete their task. For example, testing team, let's say there are 10 resources who are ready for testing the application, but testing when you will start only after coding part. Are you understanding? When testing will start only after completing the coding part. Let's say project manager has given an estimate. Project manager has given an estimate. Let's say we need 40 developers. How many resources are required? We need 40 developers required, and the time taken to complete the coding part is 6 months. This is the estimate given by the project manager. This is the estimate. The project manager needs 40 developers, and the duration which is required to complete the coding part is 6 months. Assuming there are 10 testers, these 10 people, 10 testing team people, will wait for 6 months to start the testing part. As per waterfall model, one stage will start only after completing its previous stage. Testing should, this is the rule in the waterfall. Testing should start only after completing the coding part. When coding will start, coding will take the documents from the design team. Assume design team needs 2 months of time. Assuming design team needs 2 months of time. So how many developers are waiting for the design? 40 resources are waiting for 2 months. You're making these 40 resources idle. One resource will wait for its previous resource to complete their job. Coding team will wait for the design team to complete their job. If design team needs 2 months, the coding team will wait for 2 months at all. So 40 resources are waiting for 2 months. There's a dependency. Design team will wait for the analysis to get completed. Analysis will wait for the requirements to get completed. Testing team will wait for the coding team to get completed. When there is a dependency, it's very, very difficult to achieve the deadlines. You cannot meet the commitments to the client. The main problem with the waterfall model is dependency between one stage to other stage. As the name suggests, waterfall. Why this model is called as waterfall? Why they named it as waterfall? Like a waterfall, water falls from top to bottom. There's no concept of going back. Once the first stage is completed, then only you can go to second stage. That's how the waterfall model says. So as there is a dependency, it's very, very difficult to meet the deadline because you are not utilizing the manpower to its optimum extent. So human resources are not used to an optimum extent when waterfall model is used, and it's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines and commitments when you are using waterfall model. That is the first disadvantage. It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines because one team will wait for the other team to get completed. If there's some problem with that particular team, the rest of the teams should wait for that particular task to get completed. So there's a lot of dependencies involved, which is not good practice. The second disadvantage of waterfall model is waterfall model will not encourage clients to give new requirements. Waterfall model will not encourage the clients to give new requirements. For example, requirements gathering has been completed on 1st January. Assuming the requirements team has completed the gathering the requirements on January 1st. Now, as per waterfall model will freeze the requirements. That the software development team, requirements team will clearly communicate to the client, my dear client, you have given the requirements and we are freezing on today, that is 1st January. No more requirements are allowed from your client. We proceed with our analysis, design, coding as per the requirements which are freezed on specific date. That's it. Let's after 1 month, if the client wants to implement new feature, for example, GST feature has been implemented or Google Pay feature has been implemented. Now the business is dynamic. Digital currency could be introduced by RBI. The business is dynamic. When nowadays the business industry is dynamic, you may never know the requirements. The customer should be king. Customer should be able. Your model should be robust enough to accept the new requirements also. Whereas in waterfall model, requirements are freezed. So clients are not encouraged. Now clients are not, we will not, so software company will not encourage the clients to give the new requirements, which is very, very difficult in the current industry. Now the industry in such a way that the business is dynamically changing. Your waterfall model should be flexible to accept the new requirements also, which is not possible in the waterfall model. These are the two important drawbacks because of which the waterfall model is not used in the current industry. So let's have a discussion about the problem with the waterfall model or the disadvantages with the waterfall model. It is very difficult to estimate the time because of dependency. Because of the dependencies in the each phase. Once an application is in testing, it's very difficult to go back and change something. There's no concept of going back and changing the requirements. There's no concept of going back and changing the design. When coding is started, there's no concept. The coding team will not encourage the design team to give to make some changes in the design. That's how it happens. It's very difficult to go back. There's no concept of going back. As waterfall from top to bottom, we need to move forward. There's no concept of going back and change something which is not well thought out of the concept stage. There's no concept of going back and making changes. Anything is freezed, that's freezed. It's not good for waterfall model is not good for complex and object-oriented projects. It's not suitable for projects where the requirements are, there are some clients where the requirements changes happens regularly. This particular waterfall model is not suitable for projects where the requirements are at a moderate to high risk of changing. So these are the problems, limitations of the waterfall model because of which currently it is not much used. The most widely used current the most widely used software development lifecycle is an agile model. Now, when it is very popular, definitely it is having some advantages. So how agile model, why agile is popular? Let's try to understand the agile model. Okay, let's try to understand the agile model. Look at the theory. Agile model is also called as incremental model. Try to understand the terminology. Software is developed in incremental and rapid cycles. Software is developed in incremental and rapid cycles. Try to understand the terminology. This results in small incremental releases, which each release building on its previous functionality. Each release is thoroughly tested and ensure the software quality is maintained. Look at the terminology: rapid cycles, release, incremental. Try to understand the theory, and anyways we'll get into practicals. Agile methodology emphasizes on iterative. Iterative is nothing but looping. Incremental, evolutionary development. We have humans are evolved over years together, right? So evolutionary development, incremental development. Every increment based on its previous increment. So what is this terminology? You may have a question. Sunil, what do you mean by iterative, incremental, release, rapid cycles, all these terminologies, let's make it very clear. We're getting into practicals, assuming this is the client requirement. This is the client requirement. ICICI Bank is a client, they need this kind of internet banking application. And these are the modules: personal banking, one module, personal banking, privilege banking, wealth banking, private banking, NRI banking, small and medium scale enterprises, corporate banking. So these are all modules. What happens in the agile model? So what happens about the waterfall model? Let's discuss about the waterfall model again. In the waterfall model, the first model, waterfall model, the first stage is requirements, am I right? What happens in the requirement stage? There will be regular meetings between the client and the software team, requirements team. They take the requirements of personal banking. They take the requirements of private privilege banking. They take the requirements of wealth banking. They take the requirements of private banking, NRI banking. They take the requirements of all the departments. Once the requirements gathering is done, then they declare that, okay, stage one is done. Requirements gathering has been completed. This is what happens in the waterfall model. Stage one requirements. They take the requirements of module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5, module 10, and then they design, they declare that the requirements stage is completed. The second one is analysis. Analysis is not specific to one module, its technology components are decided. Next, design team. What happens in the waterfall design team? Design team will jump into action. They design the personal banking, they design the privilege banking, they design the wealth banking, they design the private banking, NRI banking, they design all the 10 modules, and then they declare it as design has been completed. Once the design has been completed, they give the documents to the coding team. So coding team will code coding developers will code for personal banking, privilege banking, coding for the private banking, coding for all the 10 modules will be completed, and then they declare it as coding has been completed. Now testing team will come and test all the modules. One by one, they test all the modules, and then they declare testing has been completed. And then finally we deliver all the entire project at once to the client. This is what happens in the waterfall model. The entire project is delivered at once. It's not evolutionary model. The complete project is delivered at once. That's what happens in the waterfall model. Whereas in agile model, the way the software is built is completely different. The model, the approach is completely different. Try to understand this. The first stage is always the requirements team. There will be regular meetings with the client, and they take the requirements of module 1. Then the requirements they'll go to next module. Requirements team will take the requirements of module 2. In the analysis, technology components are decided, and the design team will already will start working on the module 1. Please don't think the design team will wait for the entire requirements team to be gathered. No, it's not the case. The design team will jump into action. This is agile model. The design team will jump into action, and they start designing as requirements is done, they start designing the first module. Look at the next iteration. Assuming the privilege banking requirements is completed, the requirements team will go to module 3, wealth banking. Assuming the design part has been completed, the design team will be designing the second module. Coding part will come into action. The programmers will be starting working on module 1. So you are breaking the dependencies. So total workforce is in action. Nobody's waiting. Every team is busy with a particular module. Requirements team busy with the wealth banking, design team busy with privilege banking, and development team busy with personal banking. So what's happening here? You are using your manpower to an optimum extent, and you're breaking the dependencies. Next iteration, what happens? Assuming the requirements has been completed for wealth banking, requirements team will move ahead for the private banking. Assuming design has been completed for second module, design team will go with the wealth module. Assuming coding has been completed for first module, coding team will jump into privilege banking. Testing team will jump into action. As one module is completed, testing team will be busy testing the personal banking. How beautiful it is. All the 4 teams are in action. Are you understanding? Next iteration. Requirements team busy with taking the requirements of NRI module. Design team busy designing the private banking. Coding team will be busy coding the wealth banking. Testing team will be Busy testing the module 2 because module 1 is already tested. Assuming positive, we will deliver one module to the client. There's no hard and fast rule that the entire project should be delivered at once in the agile model. Evolutionary software is built in cycles. At least client is happy. Okay, one module has been delivered. They perform user acceptance testing. They'll experience how exactly the module is behaving. Clients are happy. At least one module is delivered, rather than waiting for all the modules to be delivered after a couple of years. Are you understanding how exactly the agile model is different from the waterfall model? The next iteration, requirements team busy with requirements, a business module, design team will busy designing, NRI module, coding team will be coding the private banking module, testing team will be busy testing the wealth banking because second module is already tested. So software is developed in rapid cycles. If there is any problem with particular module 2, the cycle repeats for that particular iteration. The project is broken up into modules and you are breaking the dependencies. When you're breaking the dependencies, the way the software is built is completely different, and Agile encourages the clients to give new requirements. What's there in it? We repeat the cycle for one more time with respect to new requirements with respect to particular module. Are you understanding? So the way the product is built using agile model is completely different. So when you are making a complete all the workflows in action, obviously you can meet the deadlines in much more faster way. Are you understanding? And clients are also happy. When client is happy, the software team is also happy because you are breaking the dependencies. The software development companies are happy because they are usually utilizing their resource to the optimum extent. Clients are also happy because they can experience the evolutionary model of delivering the particular product. Because this is how the agile model is different from the waterfall model. I hope you are experiencing how exactly both the client and software companies are happy when they are implementing agile model. And this is how you are overcoming the problem with the waterfall model. Am I clear about this? So if the waterfall model, assuming if a software development company is using waterfall model, if the waterfall model is used, if a particular, in case of waterfall model, if the product needs to be delivered using waterfall model, assuming the software development team will give an estimate of approximately 2 years, assuming 2 years is the time taken to build a particular product using waterfall model. The same product, if you build using agile model, the same product, you can just deliver it in less than 1 year. So such a faster rate because you are breaking the dependencies. You can easily meet the deadlines. And agile encourages the clients to give new requirements. What else you want? So nobody is using waterfall model now because of its limitations. So complete industry is moved to agile model because you can meet the deadlines easily. You are breaking the dependencies. It encourages the client's new requirements. Both client is happy and the software team is also happy. So if a particular product in if waterfall model is used, it takes 2 years. The same product with the same quality, we can also deliver it in just 1 year by using agile model. This is just understanding how exactly agile model helps in developing a particular product. Now, now you may have a question. Sril, our concept is Devops. Our concept is Devops. You are explaining software development lifecycle, how they are related. Yes, there is a relation. Now let's get into the concept of DevOps. Now let's get into the concept of DevOps. So Agile is a more better way of building a particular product, delivering to the client. Now the point is, now the clients are in a position, clients are not even ready to wait for 1 year. When compared to waterfall model, Agile model is speed enough. You know, when Agile is introduced close to 20 years back. Yes. Agile has picked up the momentum from 20 years. Before 20 years, waterfall is used. After 20 years, slowly the Agile was picked up. And now, clients are not, even though you're using Agile model, clients are not even ready to wait for 1 year. So when compared to waterfall model, Agile model is speed. But now the industry is not even waiting for, clients are not even waiting for 1 year. They give the requirements now. They want the product to be delivered in 2 months or 3 months. In such a faster rate, the clients are expecting their applications to be built Agile model is speed enough, but not as per the current industry. Now the clients are giving the requirements and they want the product to be delivered in less than 3 months. So out of Fortune 500 companies, the top IT companies have done a research work for a period of 5 years just to understand the reason for delay. They have done a research work for 5 years just to understand the reason for delay in the software development process. Irrespective whether you're using agile model or any model, they have done a research work to understand the cause for the delay. Why it is taking 1 year, even though you're using agile model, but it is delay in the current trends. After doing a research for 5 years, the software development companies have come up with a report and they have understood the reason for the delay in the software development lifecycle. In spite of any model the companies are implementing, yes, there is a delay. And the report, the reason for the delay is because of this one particular statement. The reason for the delay is gap between two teams. What are the two teams? Development team and operations team. This is a report after doing a research work for 5 years. The software development companies have identified the cause for the delay. The cause for the delay is because of the gap between two teams, development team and operations team. This is causing the delay. Now, if you want to understand the statement gap between development team and operations team, you have to understand two important terminologies. What is development team and what is operations team? You have to be very clear. Only when you are very clear about what is development team and what is the operations team, then only you can understand this particular statement. As our objective is to understand the statement gap between development team and the operations team, let's try to understand what is development team. Let's try to understand what is development team. Development team, what's there in understanding? Development team is nothing but a group of developers. Yes, you are right. What is there in understanding? If there are a group of Java developers, that's a development team. The responsibility of the development team is to take the requirements and they develop the code. That's what the development team does. Yes, you are right. Exactly. Development team is easy to visualize. Development team is nothing but a group of developers. That's it. You are right. 100%. Development team is easy to understand. Let's try to understand the second term, operations team. What is operations team? If you want to understand the statement of gap between development team and operations team, you have to understand development team, as you are right. Yes, it is group of developers. That's it. Anybody can visualize. Let's try to understand operations team. People who are already having work experience, they can easily understand what do you mean by operations team. But people who are having non-IT experience, who are jumping from non-IT to aspirants, IT aspirants, you have to be very clear what do you mean by operations team. So let's try to understand the term operations team in the software development company. What do you mean by operations team? I'll give a simple example to make you comfortable with the term called operations team. Assuming a small software company, assuming a small software company of 100 employees. Okay. Can a software company have 100 employees? Yes, no doubt. There can be software companies or small companies like 100 employees. There can be small companies like 40 employees or 30 employees also. Visualize a software development company which is having 100 employees. If a company is having 100 employees, do you think right from the first employee to the last employee, everybody is a developer? My dear friends, if a company is having 100 employees, when I say 100 employees, don't worry about receptionist and all those stuff. 100 billable resources for a particular client. Assuming the 100 resources which are billed by the client. Do you think right from the first employee to the last employee, 100th employee who are directly involved in the project, do you think everybody is a developer? It's not the case. Please don't be under the impression that every software employee is a developer. It's not the case. Just now, as you have heard in the interaction, there is one resource from the SAN storage area network. He's not a developer. So please don't be under the impression that only developers are important. Only developers will have a value. It's nothing like that. let's say if a software development company is 100 employees, all these big companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, they boast that they're having thousands of employees worldwide. Do you think every employee working in TCS built by the client, do you think everybody is a developer? It's not the case. Don't think that every resource who are involved in a project, if there are 100 resources built by a client, every resource is a developer. It's not the case. That's very important point. Don't think that every resource is a developer. Let's say in a team of 100 employees, okay, 50% could be developers. So 50 employees, 50 resources can be developers. The other rest of people, other 50% people, there are other resources, 50 resources, who are not developers, right? They are not developers. But you cannot underestimate them. They are very critical. And these are also built by the client. Client will pay you for this group of people who do not belong to development team. So there are set of people, group of people who develop the code. Okay, they are contributing. Even there are other set of people who are not building the code, but they are very much, their contribution to the client is very, very important. These set of people who are not developers, they don't do coding, but they are very critical for the project. These set of people who are not developers or can be categorized into other set called as operations team. These set of people who don't write Java code, who don't write Python code, they are not into coding. Okay, very good. But they are critical. You cannot eliminate them. So they are very critical. They are also built by the client. So these set of people who are non-developers are called as operations team. Again, comes to question. Sunil, developers, I can easily understand developers will do the coding. So what this team will do? What will be the day-to-day responsibilities of operations team? Let's try to understand. Let's try to understand the responsibilities. Once you understand the responsibilities, once you understand the day-to-day responsibilities of the operations team, and then we'll come back to this particular statement evaluating what do you mean by gap between development team and operations team. Let's try to understand what is operations team day-to-day responsibilities. Do you think operations team is critical? Yes, they are very, very critical. These are the responsibilities of all activities which are not part of development, coding, or comes under operations team, especially in the DevOps methodology. Installation of maintenance of hardware. Who will maintain the server hardware? Who will maintain the operating system? When the developers wants to develop a particular application, they want servers, right? They want database servers, they want application servers. It is whose responsibility to provision the servers? Operations team. Configuring the servers, configuring storage, storage area network, SAN administrators, NAS administrators, network engineers, firewalls, maintaining firewalls, maintaining switches, maintaining cabling, monitoring. Who will respond if the servers are down? Do you think a Java developer will run for the server room to maintain the server? No, they are happy when the server is down. They go for a break, sending a mail to the operations team, servers are not working. Please fix it. Who will be there? Who will be responding to that particular mail? It's operations team. It is their responsibility to monitor the server and respond to the outages. There is a lot of stress involved by the operations team, which are very critical from my point of view. They are very critical than the development team. Maintaining security, maintaining networks, creating subnets, maintaining the IP addresses, linking the subnets, maintaining change cursor, version controlling, support, production support, L1, L2, L3 support, backup, taking the backup of the servers, maintaining disaster recovery, production support, developer develop the application is live, but there should be one team who will be responding always for the production issues or the QA issues, whatever it is. So these people are very critical. All these people, they don't know coding, but they're very critical. These kind of responsibilities, database administrators, network administrators, storage administrators, cyber security, cloud engineers. So these group of people are called as operations team. So in an organization, you have development team and operations team. If you want to build a particular product at a faster rate, there should be strong communication. There should not be any gaps between development team and operations team. There should be not gap between development team and operations team. As you now know the responsibilities of our operations team, you may have a question. Sunil, you said that there's a gap between development team and operations team. Can you give me a scenario? Give me one scenario of what you mean by gap between development team. Can you give me one scenario of a gap? Yes, I'm giving it to you. Let's say development team needs, assuming the development team needs Oracle database 18c version. Assuming development team needs a database, okay, what database they want? They want an Oracle database instance of 18c. This is the database infrastructure requirement from which team? Development team. Now, it is whose responsibility to provide Oracle server? Do you think Java developer will install Oracle server? No. There will be skilled resources called database administrators. These database administrator responsibility is to take the requirements from the development team. Okay, development team needs Oracle database 18c version. It is the DBA's responsibility to provide the Oracle DBA instance, Oracle instance to that particular development team. Assuming if a DBA is not available, the DBA is on leave for 1 week. What's happening? This is a case of gap. Delay. When infrastructure is not available, how developer will perform their developmental activities without any database? Impossible. One use case. Assuming DBA is available, but let's say servers are not available, all the infrastructure is busy. So the operations team will give these kind of responses. Operations team will give the responses to the development team. My dear developer, our DBA is on leave. We can get back to you on next week. I can provide you Oracle DBA instance that week. The skilled resources may not be available. That is use case 1. Use case 2, skilled resources may be available, but the infrastructure is not available. Infrastructure is very important. Operations team will reply to the requirements. My dear developers, don't give us ad hoc requirements. We cannot give you this kind of instances in a matter of 1 or 2 days. You have to give us a sufficient waiting time of 1 week. Yes, no doubt. We accept your requirements. We can provide you Oracle 18c instance within 1 week. As the infrastructure is very important, we have to provision the infrastructure. Right now, we have a lot of requirements in pipeline. Yes, we will look out. Either the infrastructure is not available, all the skilled resources are not available, or one few use cases. There are many more use cases which are resulting in gap. When there is a gap between development team and operations team, what happens? It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines irrespective of the agile model also. So how can we fix the gap between development team and operations team? This is a pain point. The pain point is gap between development team and operations team, and this gap can be fixed. This gap can be fixed by one more team called Devops team. Now there will be one more team of people called Devops team. Traditionally, there are only 2 teams in the IT industry, development team and operations team. But when DevOps methodology is implemented, look at my statement, when DevOps methodology is implemented in software development lifecycle, I repeat my statement. When the DevOps is a methodology, it's not a technology, my dear friends. DevOps is a method. You have to follow this method in the software development lifecycle. So look at my statement. DevOps is a methodology. When this methodology is implemented in software development lifecycle, you can speed up the delivery process. This methodology fills the gap between development team and operations team. So when DevOps is implemented, the software companies will maintain 3 teams. Traditionally, software companies will have only 2 teams, development team and operations team. Now, if you look at the software, if your friends are working in the IT industry, if your colleagues are asked, obviously, as you know, many are already working, you know, there is a DevOps team already included in the industry. So developers are built, operations team is also built, DevOps resources are also built by the client. There's one more team called DevOps team. Now, DevOps team responsibility, like you and me, we are aspirants of the DevOps professionals. So it is our responsibility to fill the gap between development team and operations team so that you can deliver it at much more faster rate. Again, you have a question, Sunil, how to build the gap, how to fix the gap by using these tools. DevOps is a methodology. What this methodology will do, it promotes the collaboration. DevOps methodology promotes the collaboration between the development team and operations team. This allows deployment of code into production much more faster and automation. Have you heard automation is the future? And the methodology which is driving automation is DevOps. So DevOps helps automation in the software development lifecycle. So automation should happen. So deployment should happen in automated way, which helps in rapid development of deployment of products. Okay, and this DevOps methodology can be implemented by using tools. DevOps is a methodology; it's a theory, and the theory can be implemented by using tools. So what are the tools which we'll be learning as part of the DevOps course? I hope you now know the importance of DevOps. I hope you have understood the role of a DevOps engineer. You should be a strong communication partner between the traditional two teams called development team and operations team, to make sure you will be pushing both the teams to achieve the client's requirements. And because of its importance of DevOps, all the companies are implementing DevOps in the software development companies. If you look at the trends, before moving on to trends, so DevOps is a methodology, and this methodology can be implemented by using tools. So what are the tools which are part of DevOps? So what is the prerequisite for DevOps? The only prerequisite is Linux. And you don't need to be learning in depth. You don't need in depth of Linux. You should have basics of Linux. So that's the reason the only prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. So we start with Linux, and then we move on to first tool called Git. Git is called as source code management tool, and it's also called as version controlling tool. So we learn about Git. We learn about Maven, that's a build tool. We learn about Jenkins. This is the tool which is a very important tool which is driving automation in the software development lifecycle. Jenkins is called as continuous integration, continuous delivery, and then we jump into Docker. If Oracle DBA is not available, using Docker, you can provide Oracle instance, my dear friends, and you can push the development team, because we has a DevOps engineer, you can also provide it. You don't need to learn Oracle DBA, but using Docker, you can provide the database instance as form of a container. That's a solution. So we will be learning about Docker, which is a containerization tool, and we learn about Docker Swarm, it's an orchestration tool. So these are the tools which are implemented in the DevOps. Okay, so Kubernetes is again orchestration tool. Ansible is a configuration management tool. Nagios is a monitoring tool. So these are the tools which are covered. Terraform is infrastructure as code. So these are the tools which will be covering. These are the DevOps tools which are will covered as part of our course. As a DevOps engineer, you should be good in this tool, so that you help in both the teams in making your code, to meet the client's deadline. As you know, the session timings, like how we have started session today, session starts at 5:32 and ends at close to 6:30 or 6:45, 1 hour to 1 hour, 15 minutes. And it will be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I hope you understood what is DevOps. I hope you understood what is DevOps. Now it's time for us to questions. So DevOps, many clients, look at this. DevOps Trends 2022. The future of DevOps. Seamless integration. DevOps is evolving. What is the current? Is DevOps in demand? Please look at this documentation. DevOps engineers are high in demand this year, not only in this year, next coming years. Companies implementing DevOps are growing. Is DevOps highly paying? Yes. Why? Because it's critical. IT companies implementing DevOps. Many companies are also implementing. DevOps is an automation. Which industry is using DevOps? A streamlined communication, increasing collaboration, and DevOps is significance in manufacturing. All the manufacturing domain clients uses DevOps. There are many companies who are using DevOps, many companies who are implementing DevOps. 74% of the organization is reported now they are taking on to DevOps approach when compared to 47%, which is reported, which was first published 5 years. So the percentage of companies adopting DevOps adoption almost double in the next 5 years. Because it is important. So many companies are implementing DevOps. When companies are implementing DevOps, they need DevOps resources. And that's the reason DevOps resources are highly skilled, highly in demand in the current industry. Clear about this? I hope you understood what is DevOps. Why DevOps? Traditionally, there are only two teams: development team and operations team. I hope you understood the term called operations team. And now there are three teams: development team, operations team, and DevOps team. There are a lot of opportunities in the DevOps team. Many companies are increasing the number of DevOps teams professionals. So there's a lot of demand for the DevOps team. So this also I want to showcase it. So this is our plan for today. I have given you the introduction. So what is our plan tomorrow? Before going on to interaction, I want to have a discussion about tomorrow's session. The prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. I hope I told you. So I want to start with Linux. No more theory. We'll jump into practicals. Because all the DevOps tools like Docker, Ansible, all this we have to handle it using Linux commands. All the tools installation, we have to do it on Linux environments. So you have to be good in basics of Linux. So we start with prerequisites. We get into the concepts of Linux, probably first 2-3 days. We spend some time making ourselves with the Linux basics, and then we'll be jumping on to the first tool of DevOps that is called as Git. So that's our roadmap for the next week. So before closing, let's have interaction. Yes, many people are raising their hands. So please raise your hand if you're looking for interaction. Okay. Kamesh Indraganti. Clear, Kamesh, about today's session? Are you clear about the objectives of DevOps?
Yes, sir. I am clear. Sir, I just wanted to know, sir, you said like in the starting, the how much AWS is required that you will
10% of AWS is required for this, and that 10% I'll cover it in the DevOps courses.
Yeah,
Okay?
so that 10% will help us to fetch jobs and all, or
no, that 10% will help you to understand DevOps examples. Okay, but
okay.
Frankly speaking, when you apply for jobs, okay,
Yeah.
They expect remaining 90% of AWS also, because as a DevOps engineer, you should be working with underlying cloud platforms also. Okay. So
Sir,
you cannot say that I am only 10% comfortable in AWS, but I am good in DevOps. That will be a problem. So every DevOps professional should have a strong knowledge on underlying cloud platform. So you can start with DevOps, Kamesh, but you have to eventually enroll one more course, that is core AWS course. Okay.
Okay. Sir, one more thing, sir. Is there any morning batch, sir? This 5:30 to 6:30 is like my meeting time, 6 to 6:30.
Yes, there will be definitely morning batch, but not now. Maybe after 20 days or 25 days. I'm not sure. Okay. So you can option one. You can wait for the morning batch, but there are a lot of people who depend on my recordings. You can buy the recordings and then you can watch the recordings on demand whenever you want. Okay. It's up to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kamesh. Suhail.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Suhail. How are you? And you're from which location?
I'm good, sir. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Your experience
Yes,
and your
sir,
location, please.
I'm from Sholapur, Maharashtra. Actually,
We are
I'm
from Maharashtra, I think. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm from electrical background. Last 4 years, I completed my engineering 2018. But I'm working in 4 years like an electrical engineer. But right now, I'm switching to the IT. Actually, I'm getting the AWS from Ankit, sir.
Okay, good. You're in the right track as universal learning AWS from Ankit, and you can start DevOps from me. Once you complete both the courses, your resume will be perfectly ready to get into
So
the job
my
market.
question is that if I'm going to the interview, they are taking me as a fresher or they are.
Okay, good question. You are not eligible for fresher because you are not passed out in the year 2022 or 21. You are passed out in 4 years back. You are no more considered as a fresher. So what you have to do, not only you, there are many people who want to get into IT industry from mechanical domain or from civil engineering, people who are from digital marketing, website development. Okay, so many people who wants to switch their career from non-IT to IT. So not only you, the use case is common. So what you have to do, you are not considered as fresher. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to be strong in the subject. Once you're strong in the subject, you have to create a resume, mention that you have to mention 2.5 to 3 years of experience in AWS and DevOps. You have to
Okay.
mention your resume experience in your resume. So we will help you in providing sample resumes, and you will understand what kind of projects needs to be placed in the resumes, what will be the roles and responsibilities. If you're perfectly practicing whatever we have learned, you can create that resume according to the sample resumes which we have provided, and then you can float your resume in the job portal, and you will, as DevOps is in highly demand, the moment you post your resume, next day you start receiving the calls. Okay, so if
Okay.
you're perfect in whatever we are learning, you can clear the interview. Okay,
Okay. So I want
that's
some tech
the
experience of 2 to 3 years
you
for
have to
the.
project the experience because you are not considered as a fresher. Hmm?
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Mention.
Suhan,
Sir,
next
I have
direction.
one more question for you.
Yes.
I have a lots of time because I am not on job right now.
Hmm.
So, if any batch is there, is completed of DevOps.
Already one batch is, we have a lot of batches completed in DevOps. Why do you want the completed batch?
Because I have lots of time, so I will complete as much as possible.
Okay, you don't want to attend the live training. You want to buy the videos and complete all these 44
Yeah,
days in 20
yeah,
days
yeah,
or something.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
up to you. You can buy the video, send an email to support. You have our email address, right? support@logiclabstech.com. Do you have our email address?
Hello.
Yes. This is our email
In this
address.
application.
1 minute. Let me
Okay.
complete. This is our email address. Send an email to us saying that you want to buy the full set of DevOps course. Okay. Full set
Okay. Okay.
of old batch. Maybe there's one batch which is completed just 1 month back. You can buy those videos and learn by yourself. Okay. There are many people who
Okay.
do
Okay. No
that.
issues.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Ankita Salaskar.
Hello.
Good evening, Ankita.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm just very glad you have chosen me. Like, I'm from your Python batch.
Thank you, Ankita, for joining.
Yeah. So, like, my question is like, same as Python, like the live session is free for DevOps, or
No,
is it
this is purely
paid
paid
or
course.
something?
This is purely paid course. Okay. The course fees is
Okay,
5,000. This is not like Python. This is purely paid course. Okay. Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. The course fees is 5,900. I think you already have that information in the WhatsApp group. Venkatesh Uta, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Venkatesh. How are you doing?
Hello.
I can hear you,
Hi,
Venkatesh.
sir.
How are you
I'm
doing?
fine. I am fine, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I am new to this DevOps. I don't know anything about it, like a software company. Can I try this?
You can.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have a doubt. In resume, in skills column, how to mention like DevOps or Git, Linux or Docker? How to mention skills column?
This question you have to ask at the end of the course. Okay.
Okay, okay,
First, learn the skills. Then you will
okay,
understand. Once you learn the skills, once you read the sample resumes, then you will understand how can you prepare your own resume. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Franklin, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Franklin. How are you doing?
Oh, good, good, good. Thank you so much. I'm joining from the US, and
I know.
this is a big opportunity for me. And I wanted to. I was wondering if we're gonna learn cloud formation from uh, in this class.
I'm sorry, please repeat your question.
I was wondering if we're gonna learn cloud formation on this class.
So this Terraform is equal to cloud formation. In fact, more better than this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cloud formation is infrastructure using code. Even Terraform is also infrastructure is in using code. Terraform is more in demand than cloud formation. The reason cloud formation is only for AWS, whereas Terraform code, you can implement it in AWS and Azure also. Okay. So
Oh,
both are
okay.
equivalent.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you so
Franklin,
much, sir.
how do you know this course?
Um, Good. I'm coming from a Oracle background, so is I think is I think I'll be okay with the class. But so far, honestly, the explanations, everything is very, very clear.
No, how do you know this institute? How do you happen to know?
No, a friend of mine referred me.
May I know his name?
Michael.
Okay, I think he's my old participant. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael. He referred me. I bought some courses from the website. Honestly, it's very clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Franklin. Enjoy the learning.
You do the same. Bye-bye.
Frank Wafo, how are you? Please unmute.
Hello.
Hello, Frank.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's very clear.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to say thank you for the calls. The first lesson today was something that I really enjoyed. But my question was, since you said that we need to actually know 100% of AWS, I wanted to know if there's other course batch of AWS that you have already done, or you're going to be having another class after this.
We will be starting the new AWS course maybe in 10 days. Okay. So if you have time, you can learn parallelly. You can learn DevOps and then you can also learn. To save time, many participants learn parallelly, okay, daily 2 basis. And AWS, I am not the instructor. We have a different instructor, Mr. Ankit, okay? So you can do parallelly or you can do one after the other as per your time bandwidth, okay?
All right. That means when it starts in 10 days, you're gonna put it into someone gonna put it in the WhatsApp.
Are you in the WhatsApp group? Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get the updates. You are in this WhatsApp group and you get the updates in this WhatsApp group of DevOps about the AWS new batch. Okay, and one more important point. Thank you. Any more questions, Frank?
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. My dear friends, I got to know that many people do not belong to WhatsApp group who are jumping directly to DevOps. I strongly recommend to get the updates about this particular course, which we have started today. There is an exclusive WhatsApp group. So please join our WhatsApp group using the link which I am posting in the chat box now. Okay. WhatsApp group number 6. I'm just posting the WhatsApp group joining link now. Let me check whether the link is working fine. Yes, this is a DevOps batch 106. Our batch number is 106. And if you want to get the updates about this particular training, please join the WhatsApp group using the link which I have just posted in the chat box so that you can follow the updates. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Vinod, how are you? I can see your hand raised, Vinod Ravila. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi. It's
Hi,
good.
Vinod.
What about you? Yeah, hi, sir. What about you, sir?
Doing well, thank you, Vinod. You are from which location and your experience, please?
Yeah, I'm from Andhra Pradesh, Tirupati.
Good.
Yeah, I'm working on manufacturing field in 3 years. I
You
am
want to
from
get
civil
into IT
background.
industry?
Yeah, I am from civil background.
You want to get into IT industry? There are a lot of success stories,
Yeah.
Vinod, from our
Okay.
organization who have successfully transformed their career from non-IT industry to IT industry. There are a lot of lecturers who got into IT industry. There are many other domains like people may have a BTech qualification, but because of some reasons they're working as a technical support, whatever it is, call center, whatever it is. But with a strong effort, you can definitely get into IT industry. Okay. Any
Okay.
question?
And
You know?
yeah, actually, and AWS batch, you can start on how many days?
AWS?
Yeah,
You want AWS also, right?
Yeah, I want
AWS will
also.
start, as I told you, AWS will start in probably 10 days. Okay. Please wait for the
Okay.
updates in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, okay. And placements also are provided for.
Yes, we don't guarantee any placement, but regularly we get inquiries about from companies that they need DevOps professionals and AWS professionals. So in such case, we
Okay.
will share your resumes to that HR people.
Yeah, okay. And also, you want to go on fresher or any maintenance experience?
No, you cannot go for because you're not passed out recently. You cannot go as a fresher.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the project experience. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vinod.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Couple of calls before ending. Asunuddin Sayed. Good evening.
Hi, Sunil. My name is Hassan Sayed. I'm from USA, by the way. I'm currently in Hyderabad. I'm actually from a QA background, plus some little bit of development, but not like a Python. I mean, I've done like the COBOL thing, and I have some basic knowledge, but not enough. I don't know much about Python. So I have just three simple questions. One question is, once I'm done with this course, like, do I need to take any other like specific tool detailed training? That's one question. Like, something you're talking about Kubernetes. Okay. And the second question is, do I need to have more detailed training in Python for the DevOps? And the third question is, how can I access let's say if I miss today's, let's say I miss any day class. So how can I access that video? And third thing, I came to know about your Logic Lab just by going online, doing some Google research, and I came across your website and went through one of the review where it says that, I can join, anyone with a beginner who wants to do AWS DevOps. Then I thought that review made me to get into you to join this group. So here, this is my details. Yeah.
Okay. So first question, you don't need to, so any other course you wrote, you don't need to learn Python to become a DevOps engineer. Okay. Okay. So only thing what you have to learn in this you know the duration of this course. The duration of the course is 45 days. Okay.
Yes.
And the course fees is approximately 5,900 rupees.
I already
Approximately.
paid it.
Okay, good. So only thing what you have to learn is a AWS course, the core AWS course, because I told you in this DevOps 45 days, I cover only 10% of AWS. Okay.
Got it.
Remaining 90% of AWS, you have to enroll it in an exclusive AWS course, which is starting in 10 days or probably 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Okay. So that's it. So Python is not required, no, because it's not required. And the second question, so how many tools I have listed? If you count, look at this. Forget Linux is not a tool, so forget about Linux. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DevOps and Docker and Docker Swarm is different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tools. Okay. So how many tools which are covering as part of our course? So DevOps, 9 tools we are covering. This tools is more than enough. Okay. This more than enough to become an all-rounder of DevOps. Okay. Once you get into DevOps job, you will not work with all the 9 tools. Are you understanding? Every DevOps engineer will not work with all the 9 tools. Let's say if you are involved in Terraform, you'll be working with only Terraform. Let's say if you are involved in configuration management, you'll be working only with Ansible. Or if you're working with containerization, you will be involved into one particular tool. So no developer will have an exposure towards all the tools. So this is a generalized skill set which everybody is expected in their resume. So that's the reason to have an overall DevOps engineer exposure. So we'll be covering these. I have designed these 9 tools. Okay. If someone is asking exclusively Kubernetes, there are people who wants to have extensively work as Kubernetes professionals. Okay. So that is specialization. If you are aiming for specialization, then there's a specialized course for Kubernetes, 15 days. There's a specialized course for Terraform for 20 days. That is for specialization courses. Okay. If you want to work with only specific domain called Terraform, or if you want to only work Kubernetes, in that case, people go for specialized courses. But this is a generalized course. That's enough. You don't need to learn additional tools to get into the DevOps engineer role. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Next, third point. If you miss any session, I hope you have. I hope you know every session is recorded.
Okay.
Okay. And once this is recorded, it is uploaded in our portal, that is logiclabstech.com. In case if you miss the session, you can watch the videos, and this videos is for lifetime. Okay. You cannot download the videos, but anytime you can play the videos. Okay.
No problem.
Okay, I think I have answered all your questions.
Yeah, just one last point. I mean,
Tell me.
Sunil, the thing is, see, we have a lot of guys, all with you in the training, and let's say like today, when you started, I had a question, but I never got a chance to ask the question. So I just called the customer service, and they said that I can email you.
Yeah,
so
you are right.
I will be emailing you just in case
Yes,
if
you
I
can email
don't
me.
get a chance, because I may raise a lot of questions just to be clear the subject. So
Yeah.
please answer my
As
emails in case if I don't answer.
because of more number of participants attending, okay, there are many close to now. I can count easily. There are close to 100 people raising their hands now. Okay, so
Okay.
because it is
Oh,
beginning classes, so
I completely
everybody will
understand.
not have opportunity. But if you have any questions, you can mail me to to sunil@logiclabstech.com. But
I
even
appreciate
on
that.
a high level, eventually most of the questions will be solved eventually, maybe not be
I agree.
immediately. Maybe your question may be you may have a question that I may be discussing in the second day or third day. Okay,
Got
so
it.
on a overall, yes, we have a lot of success stories from this particular course. Okay,
Thanks, Sunil. Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much. Okay, so couple of more. Okay, Vishwesh Ahiro. It's already 7:15, close to Vishwesh.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I am fine. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Yes, your question, please.
Okay, sir. Currently, I am a 2020 pass out engineering student. So, is it good to me as a fresher? Can I get a job after this course completion?
As a fresher, you want to get a job?
Yeah, because I have the knowledge about just like Linux, then Hadoop, and some of the AWS basic knowledge.
So, you want to get into fresher?
Yeah, as a fresher, is it possible? Can I
Can you
get?
define what is a fresher?
Yeah, means currently pass out.
That means 2022.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
So some companies accept 2021 as also freshers.
Yes.
Okay. But you are passed out in the year 2000. Okay.
20.
Isn't it?
No, 2020.
Oh, sorry, 2020. Yes, you are passed out 3 years back. You have a gap. Okay.
Yeah.
So opportunities for you as a fresher is less, because if you go to Naukri, search for fresher jobs. So okay, so they always ask for 2022 and 2021 passed out. Am I right, Vishwesh?
Yeah.
Am I right? Huh?
Yes, yes.
So rather than waiting for the fresher job, you can perfectly learn the skill set and project this gap as an experience.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, is it guaranteed that you get a fresher job? The more waiting time, the more gap is increasing, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's already November 2022 passed out, or there say 4 months back. Okay. After
Yes.
after 4-5 months, 2023 resumes will get into market. Agree?
Yeah.
So plan accordingly. So only thing to get the job is skills, Vishwesh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
In the
Yeah.
IT industry, especially in the IT industry. Okay. The
Okay.
highest concern what you should have is you should be skilled. If you are skilled, and rest of the thing does not matter. If you prove in the interview, definitely you get the offer.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Before closing, let's have final call. Okay. Kamesh.
Sir, what about live projects in one?
Yes, we already have 4 live projects which are already discussed. Every 2 months we come up with a live project from the industry experts. Okay, so we already have completed 4 live projects. We are planning for the 5th live project in the month of December. Okay, so live projects are always free. You don't charge anything. It's a different faculty. So we already have completed 4 live projects. You can look at our live projects on our YouTube channel, understand those live projects. You may not practice, but you have to showcase the same examples in your interview.
If we will get a chance to work on it, I mean, like how it is.
You will be giving a supported documentation for you. If you want to practice the same thing, what is explained by the live project, you can do it by yourself also. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed the session. Thank you for joining. The continuation of this session will be tomorrow at same time. The continuation of this session will be tomorrow at same time. So what is our agenda for tomorrow's session? As you know, the prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. So we will be getting into the concepts of Linux. Okay, so that's our plan for tomorrow. And we will be creating Linux on AWS environment. And then people who are completely new to AWS, you will enjoy the concept of AWS, and we'll get into the Linux in tomorrow's session. Please do not miss Have a continued day. See you tomorrow. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Have a good time. Bye, everybody.